All right, Shalom. Kohalor, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone who teach a royal peace and infinite salutations to the elect that are scattered abroad doing this work in truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Abal Gabar from the Great Millstone here in Tampa, coming at you with another lesson, going into these damn files. Because as I was scrolling on IG, I got a lot more videos. I'm going to play some more videos. And this is, I also got some information on kill snakes, and in these files, in these Epstein files, how they were talking about, pandemic simulations back in like 2017 and World War III. And now we see everything playing out. So let me open with a scripture real quick. This is Habakkuk 2:16 in the NLT. It says, "But soon it will be your turn to be disgraced. Come, drink, and be exposed. Drink from the cup of the Lord's judgment, and all your glory will be turned into shame." And that's what we're seeing. Shameful spewing upon Babylon the Great. All right. And this goes to show you that Esau is divided. Pretty much all these different files coming out with these different Edomites and stuff. It's all showing you that there's a division in the house of Esau, the so-called white man. And really the Lord is bringing an end. He's exposing all the wickedness that really takes place, which has been exposed first and foremost by the prophets. We've been telling you that this stuff was going on, child sacrifice, different rituals. But now the world is seeing it. All right. So I got this video. I'm going to play this video. I got a few videos I'm going to play. All right. And going a few years back, you had this website, WAYFAIR, where they were selling cabinets and furniture for $15,000, $13,000, $20,000 for a cabinet. And the name of the cabinet was names of missing women. All right, so everything is adding up, and we've been knowing this, okay? And this is just more shameful spewing upon Esau Edom, all right? Shameful spewing upon Esau Edom, man. So let me go ahead and do this real quick. Let me go ahead and play this video.
For years, WAYFAIR was selling furniture with the same name as missing girls. For example, in 2019, a 17-year-old girl from Ohio named Samaya went missing. Then, a few days later, WAYFAIR listed a Samaya 5 shelf storage cabinet for almost $13,000. In 2020, a 16-year-old girl from Connecticut named Yuritsa went missing. And a few days later, the Yuritsa storage cabinet went up for sale on WAYFAIR for just under $14,000. May 2020, from Kansas City, a 14-year-old girl named Annabelle goes missing. Same storage unit, sold on WAYFAIR. Annabelle with the same selling for just under $11,000. January 2020, Kyla Coleman, 16 years old from Cleveland, goes missing. You can already guess. WAYFAIR, same name. This one discounted for $12,000. Everyone always called this a conspiracy theory until now, when a receipt from WAYFAIR was found in the Epstein files. Look, we know that Jeffrey Epstein's network has a history with missing girls. Don't forget this picture of John Benet Ramsey and Ghislaine Maxwell lurking in the background. At the receipt, it was purchased by Karina, Jeffrey Epstein's longtime girlfriend, on June 28, 2018. It was for one item totaling $8,400. And I've tried, but I can't find out what the item was. What I do know is that on June 23rd, 5 days prior, a girl named Joanna went missing from Columbus, Ohio. And still, to this day, she has never been found. But back in the day when this conspiracy was spreading online, there was a high-priced Joanna cabinet circulating in the chats from the same WFX utility company. Just for context, the WFX company is still selling the same storage units on WAYFAIR, but they're only $139. Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend, Karina, wasn't just making purchases on WAYFAIR. She's also active in the files for making purchases off of Etsy. We know that back during this time, Etsy also had some very weird postings. The reality is that none of this proves anything, but it does make you think that if this type of activity was happening, who was behind selling these items to Jeffrey and his network, allegedly? Where's Epstein's longtime girlfriend, Karina? She was a dentist, which might explain why he had these rooms. Just 2 days before his passing, his estate signed everything over to her. We're talking about the properties, Zorro Ranch, the island, and hundreds of millions of dollars. So, does she know where all the bodies are buried? I say that figuratively, of course. As always,
So that's one of the videos, okay? Let me check this next one out.
Found some more insane emails in the Epstein files. And once again, I'm asking, why is this redacted? Donald Trump, his FBI, his Department of Justice are protecting bad men who did bad things with Epstein. This is an email that was sent from...
All right. So real quick. So we just saw that they were selling, going back a few years ago on WAYFAIR, they were selling furniture for, like, you know, a cabinet for $13,000, right? And then the cabinet would be named a missing child, right? So now you see in this email from, is redacted, of course, which everything's going to come out, man. All right. To Jeffrey Epstein vacation at Gmail, it says, new Brazilian just arrived. Let me play it.
Just found some more insane
New Brazilian just arrived. Sexy and cute equals 9-year-old. All right.
Emails in the Epstein files. And once again, I'm asking, why is this redacted? Donald Trump, his FBI, his Department of Justice are protecting bad men who did bad things with Epstein. This is an email that was sent from somebody, we don't know who, to Epstein back in 2013. It says, new Brazilian just arrived, sexy and cute, 9 years old. What? Why is their name redacted? Why don't we know who's saying this? Why haven't they charged this person? You know, Trump and his team have said there's no evidence that Epstein did anything wrong with anybody else. We're looking at the evidence. It's right in front of our faces. I also talked about this email yesterday, 2014, from somebody, again, the name is redacted, to Epstein. Thank you for a fun night. Your littlest girl was a little naughty. They're saying the crimes. They're saying it out loud that they're doing it. And Trump's DOJ doesn't have any other evidence of other people doing bad things. Why are these names redacted? In my view, the only explanation is that Donald Trump and the people around him are protecting the rich, powerful men who committed crimes alongside Epstein. Once again, they are saying it in text, and they're not doing anything about it.
Yep. And see, the world is figuring out what we've already known is that this man is the devil, okay? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, these politicians, everybody's finding out that these people of the world, you know, the people that rule the earth, you know, they're wicked as all hell, all right? And it really goes back to different Canaanite sacrifices, you know, sacrificing to Baal, which another email stated that one of Jeffrey Epstein's bank accounts was named Baal, all right? Which Baal was a wicked deity that they used to sacrifice children to. Heathens, you know, and even certain Israelites, wicked Israelites. So let me grab it real quick. This is Jeremiah 19:3. And say, hear the word of Yahweh, O kings of Judah and inhabitants of Jerusalem. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the God of Israel, behold, I will bring evil upon this place, the which whosoever heareth, his ears shall tingle. Because they have forsaken me and have estranged this place and have burned incense in it to other gods, whom neither they nor their fathers have known, nor the kings of Judah, and have filled this place with blood of innocence, with the blood of innocence. They have built also the high places of Baal to burn their sons with fire for burnt offerings unto Baal, which I command not, nor spake it, neither came it into my mind. So these people are doing these sacrifices to Baal, okay? Now, I want to go to this real quick. Let's go to... You know, this is why they had a whole temple, which you see an owl, all right? Going back to Molech, you know, which is pretty much, you know, the same type of deity, sacrificing children, you know, and this is what he had. And, you know, it's coming out that all of these celebrities, politicians, they all went to this island, man. All right, and there's a lot of information coming out now. This is all shameful spewing upon Esau's glory. This is all, you know, and we're going to see what happens, all right? Because these dumbass Americans, they got all this information and they still, you ain't revolting yet? You ain't waking up yet? People are through, man. All right? So now let's go to this one. All right, so, let me bring in a scripture. This is Isaiah 4. Actually, let's go here real quick. Psalm 64:8, it says, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. You know? So now you got these different Edomite politicians and Edomite leaders that are, you know, pretty much blackmailing each other. That's why all this stuff is coming out. It's all a bunch of blackmail. People, you know, the Edomites are at war with themselves, all right? Which goes to show you that this place is through, all right? This place is completely done, man. It's only a matter of time before, you know, everything that the prophets have been saying is going to happen. You know, Jacob's trouble, the crash of the dollar, the mark of the beast, you know, complete division, civil war, civil unrest, everything is happening, you know? But their own tongue is falling upon themselves, man. You know, so I saw this, right, in one of the files to this guy, all right, from James Haywood, and this was back in 2018. It says, we need to discuss World War III. The investors want to know if we are still planning February 8th, 2026, which is in 3 days, okay? Which we know, like, you know, World War III is Bible prophecy, okay? The third woe cometh quickly, as the scriptures say, but, you know, these elites, the ones who rule the earth, they're the ones who really, you know, dictate the wars, and they fund all the wars. So they're planning something big in 2026, whether it's February 8th or not. It's just crazy to see stuff like this in the files, all right? We need to discuss World War III. The investors want to know if we're still planning February 8th. These are some sick people, man. All right? So let's go here real quick. This is Isaiah 47:1. It says, Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Yeah, confusion. And all the confusion of this place, you know, the shameful spewing is being seen all around the world. All these other nations are seeing what's going on. You know, and these nations, they took part in business with the whore. You know, they laid with this place, America. And now they realizing all the wickedness, man, which is going to ultimately lead to these nations shooting nuclear missiles over here. Shalom, shalom, Akim Yahushua Shabbat. But it says, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Yeah, so this place is being exposed. It's no longer, you know, being called a great place, you know, the greatest nation. Everybody's waking up to the wickedness of this place. It says, take the millstones and grind mill, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Meaning this place is being exposed for the wickedness, which we've been telling you, starting with the elder apostles, decades, you know, that, you know, what this devil does, man. What these Edomites, these so-called white people, how they get down, man. You know, they're Satan worshipers. They're spawns of Satan. But see, now all the information's coming out. Yahweh Shai is visiting this earth, and he's exposing the leaders of this world, man. All right? It says, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, being exposed. Yeah, thy shame shall be seen. So now the shame of this place, America, and the leaders of this place, America, is being seen all around the world. It says, I will take vengeance and I will not meet thee as a man. Because all of this wickedness that's taken place, you know, the scriptures tell you that her sins have reached unto heaven. I'm going to actually go there real quick. So all this wickedness and these sins that is happening is going to lead to the ultimate judgment of Babylon the Great, America. There's a judgment that comes behind all of this. All right. Which is ultimately fire. A lake of fire, man. This place being burnt with thermonuclear missiles. This is Revelation 18 and 3. It says, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. This is going into Babylon the Great, the whore. That's talking about America. And all the nations have been, you know, in bed, fornicating with this woman, America, doing business deals, you know, taking on the philosophies, democracy, taking on the religions, taking on the confusion of this place. All nations have drunk of the wine, the philosophies, democracy, all right, LGBTQ. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues, because major plagues are coming to this place, America. It says, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. And the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. Yeah, so the sins have reached unto heaven. We're to the point where the, you know, wickedness, as the scriptures tell you in Esdras, wickedness has polluted the whole earth. Because Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Now it's being made plain who the wicked is. All right, which the wicked is the so-called white man, the Edomites that rule the earth. All right, they're behind all of this. And now it's coming out to for the whole world to see. Right before the Lord destroys this place off of the face of the earth. Okay? So this is clearly the end. And they talking about World War III in these files, right?
4 years.
And you got these, you know, WAYFAIR storage units, 12,000, you know, they was, you know what they was doing, you know? Trafficking children, man. But let me go to that too. This is Ezekiel 28:4. It says, with thy wisdom and with thine understanding thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. Going into Esau's left hand magic, that he, you know, he's put spells on the whole world, man, through his media. Okay. His politics, all of this left-hand wisdom. That's how his man has gotten riches. Scriptures say riches got by deceit. All right. It says, by thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches. Yeah, and this is, you know, this was a multi-million-dollar industry. This whole trafficking thing that was going on, man. And now You see what's happening with Bitcoin. Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin is at like $65,000, $70,000, dropping, realizing that Bitcoin is linked to the files as well. You know, and you know, a lot of these purchases, they were using Bitcoin to buy these different $13,000 storage cabinets, which they weren't just buying the cabinet, all right? But it says, by thy great wisdom and by thy traffic, human trafficking, hast thou increased thy riches, and heart is lifted up because of thy riches. Yeah, the pride of this man, all right? So this is what this man was doing, and he's been doing, you know, doing these sacrifices unto Baal, blood sacrifices. You know, your favorite celebrities and all of that, they was all there, man. Okay, so now I want to get to this next point. All right. Baal, man, they was burning, and that goes back to the scriptures. That's what they did. The, you know, Canaanites, you know, burning their sons and youngs to Baal. This is Nahum 3 and 4. It says, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot going into America. Okay.
Yeah.
This is that well-favored harlot. It says, the mistress of witchcrafts that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts. That's what, you know, this place, America, was put on top through sorcery, witchcraft. A lot of wickedness was going on behind the scenes that's now being exposed. Okay, and there's more than what we have. You know, what people are seeing in these files now, this is nothing compared to what was really happening. There's millions and millions of files that they're not releasing. Okay. It says, behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. So now the whole world is waking up to the wickedness that's happening. Right? This is Psalm 64 and 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. This is going into the elites, the so-called white man, the rulers of the earth. You know, they have secret councils, secret meetings where they do sacrifices, you know, cannibalism, all right? The workers of iniquity. It says, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them? And that's what they do. They're constantly laying traps and snares, which is going to go into the next thing I'm going to bring out. How kill snakes, you know. This guy was in the files, you know, talking about a scamdemic, man. All right. Back in 2017, before the whole 2020 thing happened with the C19 pandemic, they were having in these emails talking about, you know, pandemic simulations. All right. Verse 6, Psalm 64 and 6. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. Yep. Their plans, you know, they have, they think deep about this stuff. Okay, so without further ado, let me just play this.
Genetically modified organisms, and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein.
Gates' business strategies came under fire in 1998 when the United States Department of Justice sued Microsoft for antitrust violations.
This is take 3 of the videotape deposition of Bill Gates.
During the 18-month trial, Gates gave hours of videotape testimony.
What were the non-Microsoft browsers that you were concerned about in January of 1996. That month? Yes, sir. And what about it? What non-Microsoft browsers were you concerned about in January of 1996? I don't know what you mean concerned. What is it about the word concern that you don't understand? I'm not sure what you mean by it.
For the world at large, normalcy only returns when we've largely vaccinated the entire global population. And well, this won't be the last pandemic that we face. So we'll have to prepare for the next one. That, I'd say is, will get attention this time.
Go. All right. So let me go here now. I think it's here. Where is it at?
The Gates Foundation.
So both the health policies and economic policies, we find ourselves in uncharted territory.
Event 201 was not the first scripted exercise.
We didn't sit.
Yeah, you did simulate it. You can now see it inside of the Bill Gates pandemic plans emails to Jeffrey Epstein. Go ahead and read some of these. Unsealed DOJ documents, the U.S. Epstein trove reportedly include 2011 emails laying out a sophisticated playbook for monetizing future pandemics through hidden financial structures. Epstein personally urged J.P. Morgan's elite asset management boss to create offshore arms and donor-advised funds tied to Bill Gates' initiatives explicitly designed to rake in cash under the guise of charity. Wow. Would you look at that? This is Epstein planning these for Bill Gates. Bill's been working a lot with various donors. First Energy Fund, massive cuts in science coming. We need to do a donor-advised fund, otherwise called a DAF. So it can be, you can write it off, right? It's for charitable giving, it's for nonprofit giving. Bill Gates program for tax compliance. This is going to underwrite enormous money from charitable organizations. Will be needed. Arm's length salaries are disclosable, closely watched. And here you go. An offshore arm, especially for vaccines. Bill Gates invested in the vaccine industry. Would you look at that? You can actually find the emails right here. Just in case you're wondering, here's the DOJ URL for them. There are some fake emails going around there, so we'll always show you the DOJ URL. You can go look it up for yourself, right? In 2017, Bill Gates discussed plans for a pandemic simulation with Jeffrey Epstein. 2017? Well, isn't that exact?
Now, I'm going to play this video some more. But this came out February 3rd, 2026. World Health Organization quietly coordinates large-scale simulation with 31 countries to prepare for the next pandemic. And as this has happened, you have Disease X, the Nipah virus that is in America, that's here, that's spreading. So things is about to heat up. Jacob's trouble is around the corner. We are at the end of this. Yahweh Shemi Awashah is about to bring an end to this society, man.
Exactly.
Oh, and this ministry, us being on YouTube, is coming to an end. They're going to slice all these videos soon, just like they did back in 2020. And that's Amos 8 and 11. The famine of hearing the words is coming. We're not going to be on YouTube talking about this stuff for much longer because they're going to completely censor it. They're going to shut out all, delete all the videos, delete our channels. And then, they're going to come down with great wrath. Because now that Esau sees that his witchcraft and his sorcery is not working anymore, he's going to resort to what he knows best, which is that sword.
When Dr. Fauci was declaring that there's going to be a surprise outbreak, that's the same year that Dr. Fauci said that he can guarantee.
There is no question that
No
there
question.
will be.
He says no question that there will be
But also there will be a surprise outbreak.
No question there'll be a surprise outbreak. Same year.
While these robotic developments are impressive, what Elon will unveil next.
Pandemic simulation. An email describing the idea reference of proposed projects such as simulated outbreak scenarios, expanded health data infrastructure, neurotechnology research potentially useful for national security. There you go. They always bring the receipts. Here it is. To Bill Gates. There's Bill Gates right there. And you can see all of the pandemic infrastructure that they were trying to build here quickly in 2017.
Yep.
Dude needs to be brought in for questioning. Bill Gates was planning pandemic simulation.
Yep. So let me grab this. Because really it's all pestilence. And really Yahweh Shemi Shai is behind all of this. You know, the Lord is in control of everything. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. This is really, you know, the Lord is using Esau Edom. You know, because this is the Lord's sword. Let me go here first. The book of Psalms. Right here. All right, this is Psalm 17 and 13. Arise, O Yahweh, disappoint him, cast him down. Deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. So the Lord uses Esau Edom to bring judgment, you know, to bring plagues, and a pestilence is nothing but a part of that sword. All right, so we already knew that this was all, even back in 2020, we was telling you that this was not something that just came out of Wuhan in China, you know. This was orchestrated. Just like the next one, what's happening right now is being orchestrated for the elites to usher in their new world order. That's what's coming down to. Esau's image, he has an image, the image of the beast that he wants to accomplish. All right. This is Matthew 24 and 7. For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. So the Lord is using this man to bring pestilence. And they're saying this next one, you know, what did Kill Snake say? He said this next one's going to get their attention.
Jeffrey Epstein in 2017. You cannot make this up. There it is. Strain pandemic simulation. Bill Gates, Larry Cohen, and Redacted discussing strain pandemic simulation. Like strain, like the COVID strain. Right? Got it. Its ventures, of course, as considerable investments in a lot of them have to do with the healthcare management, health and global development, technology investment, portfolio, vaccines, and so on. Epstein discusses pandemic simulations. There they are. You can see why Elon Musk said, you know, the most evil guy, I wouldn't even let Bill Gates babysit my kid, right?
Also,
and I'm just...
who does Bill Gates think he is to make comments about the welfare of children, given that he frequented Jeffrey Epstein?
True. Okay, well, he said he regrets those, and he spent a lot.
You see, so they all at war with each other. You know, a lot of blackmail because Epstein. I mean, this guy right here, Elon Musk, he was rubbing shoulders with this guy too, man. He went to the island. He wanted to go. He was at the parties, you know. So we see a division amongst Esau Edom. A house divided cannot stand.
Wouldn't trust that guy to raise my kids. Ooh, yeah. A reminder that Jeffrey Epstein also says that Bill Gates gave his wife an STD because of all the Russian hookers that Epstein procured for him, and that he also snuck his wife antibiotics. Yikes, dude. And now his wife is breaking.
Through. All right, so hey, call Yahweh more shameful spewing upon Babylon the Great. This man is through. We at the end of this thing. The Lord is shining a light on this place, man. Everybody's seeing it now, and if you can't see it, the Lord got you blinded. All right, you're gonna be caught out here when all hell breaks loose. So with that, call Yahweh Shalom.